Welcome to our watering hole, our sacred space of rest and renewal. In a world that moves too fast, where do you find stillness? How do you secure a workable antidote to the turmoil that besets you every minute of the day? How can you stay in control of your sanity and serenity? What workable tools exist, and where can they indeed be found? I first asked myself this question about 25 years ago, as a much younger man. About a year ago, that question came up again in my mind as I sat near a flowing stream near where I live. 25 years earlier, that question found me lost and confused. A year ago, this same question found a much calmer, wiser, and happier version of me. This became the inspiration for this channel. Back then, determined to find answers and create my personal template for achieving wholeness and freedom and overcoming worry and uncertainty, I dived into every available resource. From the Sedona method to the Silva system to membership in esoteric organizations, I searched everywhere, piecing together snippets of light bulb moments to attempt a synthesis that made sense and was usable in everyday life. After all this knowledge was to enhance the quality of my daily life. Otherwise, it would be highfalutin stuff that satisfies the ego and has no practical benefit or use. A common theme and yardstick by which the observing world assesses those who engage in the inner work of transformation. Indeed, that yardstick is not entirely wrong. By thy fruits are ye known, says the ancient adage. Why know so much and still be wrecked, rattled, or blown away by events that evoke fear, depression, uncertainty, and trepidation? It does not make sense. Over the years, I have realized that these paths often do not complete anyone 100%. They, however, contain information that each individual can use to achieve completeness for themselves. Most seekers are not absolutely ignorant of higher truths, but often struggle with how to connect these seemingly disparate pieces of information to formulate a workable and usable ideology they can use time and again, every day, throughout life. Unfortunately, the barrage of information received from these various schools and resources often comes in the form of generic dogma, leaving most seekers disappointed when this one-size-fits-all approach does not work for them. The cornerstone realization that changed my trajectory and made everything make sense was that each recipient of this knowledge must synthesize and adapt it to their personal and peculiar situation. Knowing this, I moved away from being one of the blind Hindustani men and sought to become the writer of the entire poem. I knew deep within me that none of the blind men who tried to describe the elephant was wrong in the absolute sense. They only described the perceived truth with the purest intention to inform. Each man's truth, realization, and description was a fragment of the entire elephant, albeit seemingly unconnected to each of them from where they stood, but not in any way false. Thus, each of us has a missing fragment that we need to find in order to complete our entire elephant. So no one is really wrong, no one is absolutely right, and it is all good. As I stepped back, I realized what many already knew but could never explain well enough. The fact is that the revealer of our personal missing fragment is within each of us. The revelation is outside us and available to all eyes, but the interpreter of the received message, information, or revelation is within us, and its work is so particular and intricate that the revelation given to each seeker is extremely unique and very specific to the level of understanding of that particular seeker at that particular time. It is also best understood by the individual involved because it draws from experiences and memories known only to them to impart the revelation intended. This is why it is often said that in the examinations and tests of life, there is no need to copy the answers written by another, because the questions and lessons to be imparted are so specific to each individual that even identical twins are not missing the same fragment that will complete their spiritual journey. That was the first realization. The second was that each seeker can receive several layers of revelation on a single subject, depending on how far they have evolved since the last revelation on that subject was given to them. Let us take the spiritual attribute of courage, for example. Higher wisdom may draw on a template involving Lego blocks to teach courage to a 5-year-old. Once that aim is achieved, the imprint of courage will only be a partially formed template, which, though usable to the child, at that age, will be of no use to that same child when he gets to grade school and confronts a bully, or in adolescence when acne spots assail his self-confidence to the point that he is reticent to leave the house on some days. This same lesson, which teaches the fundamental principle of courage, will not serve him adequately as a new recruit when he enrolls in the military academy and has to impress the drill sergeant. Shortly after that, a different and higher lesson template is required to instill courage in him on the battlefield. Still, for this same man, further in life, in matrimony for example, the courage to make bold child-rearing and other decisions is of a different flavor. The same applies to the courage to confront ill health, divorce, old age challenges, or other setbacks that require the attribute of courage to overcome as he progresses in life. Thus, we see that for a single attribute to be optimally instilled in an individual, the revealer will have to employ different scenarios and templates to best provide the missing links and fragments to complete the picture or lesson each time. Once the entire course is done, usually over many years, the seeker's understanding of that particular attribute is widened in its scope of application and possible service to others. Thus, with time and ever-expanding understanding, the student can become a teacher, or, at the least, a better informed worker in the vineyard of creation. This is how spiritual growth works. Bear this in mind, please, and be aware of two important things. As we travel this path together, I will try, as I will be led, to use various techniques to convey the same message. It may sometimes appear to be a needless repetition, but trust me, it is not. It is a buffet of scenarios from which you just have to find what is right for you and own it. Usually, once you internalize and own a template that suits you, it is easy to build upon it over time. Second, attitude determines altitude. In the same household, a negatively impactful event witnessed at the same time by two different children can turn them in opposite life directions, such that after 10 years, that event has produced two contrastingly different individuals. If one child's reaction was, "This should never have happened to me," while the other saw it as, "I am grateful it happened now so that I can learn and create my own different path. It has taught me what not to do when given the opportunity in the future," then you will agree that what triggered different outcomes in them was not the event. It was their attitude. My appeal in summary is that you, 1. Keep an open mind to learning the same thing in many different ways. 2. Have a positive attitude toward the message of this channel and use it as a pivot to upswing and unlock your growth. Every message will contain that perception-altering grain of information that will connect the dots, reframe, and make sense of all the seemingly conflicting fragments of knowledge you already possess. Usually in such a simple form that it is likely to be overlooked by those who still believe that spiritual truths must come in the form of complex jargons and expressions. Keep things simple. The important things in life really are simple. For me, I am also a seeker, one who is still learning, but who has a burden to share the little he has gathered in the decades of seeking, and to do so in such a simple way, or ways, as to help both the advanced and early seeker see the connecting pin in the concepts they are struggling with understanding and mastering now, or will be in the future, and in so doing, make their journey quicker and more intensely fulfilling. In that sense, please note that your feedback matters a lot to me. It will help me help myself and feed into this reservoir of knowledge we are building, this watering hole where all who are thirsty can come to rest, relax, renew, and be reinvigorated each day, each month, and each year until we leave this planet. Despite what we all know individually, let us come to this oasis with open hearts and minds, seeking that missing, usually little fragment that will connect all the disparate dots of our understanding and set us free to soar like eagles. Finally, while I believe some of us will get to meet physically in time to come, I appeal for your understanding that we start this journey with as much anonymity as is functionally possible. This is to enable and ensure we focus on why we are here primarily. It will also take the pressure off this channel's owner to provide any form of idolatrous or cult imagery tied around a person or group of persons. In this Aquarian age, that is the opposite side of the coin of mass gatherings, groups, and movements, and we must avoid it altogether. Thank you for letting me into your hearts this way. I am grateful. E.J. Solace, Keeper of the Brook.